Ah, I am so stupid. This is why, this is why I need to learn this. I just did a broadcast for literally what, half an hour, and I didn't know how the settings work. I deleted the last live broadcast. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is why I need to take more training on doing live broadcast. I was trying to monetize it and I clicked on the delete section. And yes, I deleted myself. I was just doing live broadcast for you and I just deleted myself and I'm an idiot. Ay, ay, ay. So I'm bringing myself back again. It was such a beautiful live broadcast that, but mistakes are going to be made. Mistakes are going to be made. This is my second live broadcast and I did not know what in the world I was doing. What in the world I was doing. So let me see if I got this right again. I will redo the bright broadcast again. Oh, let me see. Hi. Yes, I deleted my broadcast. I just did a live broadcast, maybe what, 5 minutes ago. And instead of me putting it on the YouTube side, because you have to do all these things, and I just deleted it. So anyway, I'm back again. So, all right, the very first news. I have to repeat myself again. Every Sunday at 10 a.m. for right now, I'm gonna come live. So after today, I'm gonna come every Sunday around 10 a.m. DC time, DC Eastern Standard Time of United States. I'm gonna come live. That's my very first news. Well, man, I need this. This is not enough. Large coffee is not enough. And then, what was I said so much, man. Ugh. So I'm gonna do this. I'm actually gonna try to build this studio now, a podcast studio, in my basement studio, and it's gonna be like a whole professional thing because I'm trying to get a software. I'm trying to get a software, professional broadcasting software, so these stupid mistakes are not made where I just deleted my entire broadcast. Um, but I'm going to get a software where your comments are going to be much more synchronized. I'm going to be able to do a lot of other things. Like pretty much you, I think you might be able to also call me live and everybody can hear you. So if you wanted to curse at me, you want to say something really bad, you can actually now. I'm going to get the software. It's expensive software. I think it's like $400 or $500. So I'm going to see if I can afford it right now or if I can wait or if there's a cheaper alternative to a broadcast software. And also what that will allow me is also, like you guys have questions for me on astrology, then what you can do, like you can have a donation button there. Like for $5, your question will come up and I can easily see it without it being going up and down, up and down, up and down. So that I'm going to do. So today what I wanted to do actually is, since yesterday somebody asked me in the comments about, um, does Dasamsha chart, I have this and this planet in my 7,000 Dasamsha. Does that mean my spouse will ruin my career? Does that mean if I marry my spouse, or I mean marry my spouse, marry somebody, my career will be ruined? And I'm like, man, you guys have misconstrued the divisional charts big time, because each divisional chart, the houses in the divisional charts mean something. Okay. And by the way, I'm live again. I'm redoing this because I deleted my last video. Means something. And especially the title that you see, The Birth of Career. I want to explain that again. So in the birth chart, as you know, what represents our birth? Like, okay, this person is now born. It's the first house, right? The first house of the birth chart represents us, our birth. What do you think the first house in the Samsha chart represents? First house in the Dasamsha represents the birth of career, the birth of your karmas. I shouldn't even say career. See, again, Dasamsha is for career as well. Now we can say that in 2017. You can start saying that since 1900s, you know. that Dasamsha is career, but Dasamsha was your highest of karma. It represents the highest of action you're going to perform in this life. Back in the days, it was simply whatever your father was doing, you would do that. If you're a farmer, you're a farmer. If you're a merchant, you're a merchant. If you're a Brahmin and you're doing like teaching and all that, you'll do that. If you're a Kshatri, you're going to go and fight. So, but now it's more complicated. So we can see careers, but careers is still not seen from Dasamsha as much. Dasamsha simply shows the how much action you're going to perform, how high your actions are going to go. So first house represents the birth of career, and especially in my opinion now that I am I'm loving Jaimini astrology, I'm learning Jaimini astrology. Chara Dasha, which is one of the main Dasha of Jaimini, if you look at the sign-based Dasha and you see the sign of your ascendant of your Dasamsha coming, the sign-based Dasha. So let's say if it's a five-year-long Dasha and it's coming, that Dasha activation will completely bring about your karmas alive. What do I mean by this? Let's say you want I gave an example of a plumber. Let's say you wanted to be a plumber. You're very good at dealing with pipes and dealing with connections of the water, and you want to have your own professional plumbing empire. Well, before that, you might be working in construction, you might be working in McDonald's, you might be doing some odd jobs in a retail store. But as soon as, if your karma is to become a plumber, if we see a certain combination of Saturn and Rahu, coming together in a water sign, we can see, okay, this person could be a plumber, or especially if Mars aspects it. We see that, okay. But when your sign of the Dasamsha comes alive, the sign-based Dasha, suddenly you'll be like, okay, I need to go start making, you'll run into people who will suggest you to become a plumber. Things will happen. You'll be like, you know what? I think I should do plumbing. Maybe I should do that. Okay, we'll do that. This is why, especially when you test like Charadasha, and if you use Charadasha testing on Dasamsha of child stars, Justin Bieber, Michael Jackson, you can see easily from Charadasha why their career became alive so young. And especially Padnadhamsa Dasha, which is a Navamsha based Dasha. That is, Padnadhamsha is the Dasha. It is, if Vimshotri is the king of the Dasha, okay, Padnadhamsha is the emperor. That's what I will say about Padnadhamsa Dasha, which obviously I do now on my website with the Navamsha reading. When I look at your Navamsha, the first thing I'll do, I'll tell you with the strongest planet in your birth chart, and then I'm going to go into your Padnadhamsa Dasha, and I will start from 2 previous Padnadhamsha, so you can see what happened in your life. So obviously that is, I think, option 14. It's just called Navamsha reading on my website, astrologycares.com, under shop section. So ascendant represents the birth of your career, your karma of the Dasamsha. Second house represents our family, right? Second house represents our the resources, our values. Like we learn our values through the family, the second house, right? In the diamond chart, second house is right there. This is us. Second house is right there. It's the resources of the family. But does that mean the same thing in Dasamsha? Not necessarily. In Dasamsha, it represents the resources available to you regarding the development of your career. That's the second house of the Dasamsha. It doesn't represent family. Second house of the Dasamsha is not family. Second house of the Dasamsha is the resources available to you for your career, and how much resources can you accumulate for yourself. Third house is siblings, right? Arts, media, creativity. Third house of the Dasamsha represents your sibling-like colleagues, people that you interact with, communicate with on a daily basis. You're walking down the hallway, hey, how are you? Did you finish that project? Yeah, I'm on that project. That's the sibling-like communication. And also third house represents skills of hands. So whatever skill, like ours in the birth chart, skills of hands can represent anything. It can represent playing sports, basketball. It can represent writing. But specifically in the Dasamsha, it can represent the skill that a person will need for their career, for their highest of karma, And if those skills are going to lead to success, will those skills do anything? That is seen from it. Then your fourth house represents your mother in the birth chart. Mother, comfort, happiness, land, real estate. Well, what does the fourth house in Dasamsha represents? Fourth house in Dasamsha represents your accumulated karma related to your career. It represents your happiness through career. The happiness that you get, the comfort. How comfortable are you in your career? Do you have no comfort? Do you have comfort? Is seen from the fourth house. So real estate is not seen from there. Vehicles are not seen from there. Unless, of course, it's a professional vehicle, like a company vehicle. But it shows the storage of your happiness of your career. How happy are you? So that is seen from the fourth house. Fifth house is children, right? In the birth chart. Fifth house represents children, education, arts, creativity, performing arts, politics, counseling, Purva Punya Bhava. It represents your future. In a way, it can also represent children of your children. A lot of things. It can represent the end of your enemies. In the fifth house, it's not going to represent your children. But think about it. Use logic in the Samsha. What are signified in a professional life like our children? It's our subordinates, people who work under you. So if you're a supervisor, you got 5 people working under you. What is your job on day to day? To see how they're doing, nurturing them, helping them finish the project so they become your children in the Dasamsha. Then sixth house in the birth chart represents what? Health, illnesses, diseases, debts, competition, accounting. Okay, it represents prarabdha karma, unchangeable karma, disputes. In the Dasamsha, it represents, first of all, the competition in your workspace. It represents the daily routines, but also represents the competition in your workspace. So if, let's say, you are in a department with 4 people and you will go out and you go to the happy hour, have yourself beers and drinks and munch on food. But when you find out that they're looking to promote somebody from your department, then everybody becomes your competition. Then you're like, okay, how do I get ahead? You know, who do I have to suck up to find my promotion? That is seen with the sixth house of the birth chart. Hi. Uh-oh, look who's here. Oh no. Oh no. It is the Raj babies. Oh my God. This is my life. This is my life on a daily basis. Hey, everybody. Hey, no, Daddy's live. I'm doing live.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, girls, come on.
Hey, go. Okay, go. Go.
No, mommy.
Go.
Sorry about that.
Bye. Bye. I love you. Okay.
Said I love you too.
I love you too. This is my life on daily basis. So yeah, I love it. This is my life. I love it. Each moment I love it. So where were we? Yeah, we were talking about the sixth house of competition in the Samsha, right? So yeah, it represents the competition in your workspace, and it represents the debt you may take to improve your career. How? Oh man, my daughter's fingerprints are now all over my glasses. It represents, let's say you want to learn some new, you want to attain some new lessons or some new courses. Your office is not offering that, and they're quite expensive. So you put it on your credit card. You know, you want to go to a conference, you put $700 on your credit card. It's a $2,000 lesson that will change your, management skills or whatever. So you take on debt. That also is seen through the sixth house. Any dispute that happens in the office is the sixth house. Then you see the 7th house of the Samsha. Yeah, they definitely are showstoppers. Um, they stop the show sometimes. Believe me on that. So 7th house is not the house of marriage. And this is why I'm making this video. When I saw this comment yesterday on my, or 2 days back on my live, no, yesterday on my live thing, he says, my 7th house is really bad in the Dasamsha. Should I marry or not? Which definitely tells me that obviously you're very new to astrology, as we all were. I had similar questions too. So it's not some ignorant question to ask. It's a very important question to ask. Like, does that really mean that in the 7th house? No. If you want to see how your spouse is going to impact your life, how your marriage is going to be, look at the 7th house in Navamsha in the birth chart. Or even you can go, especially if you're a woman, you can go into Trim Samsa. But in the Samsha represents the partnership you have at your work or your business. So let's say, for example, you're in a department and you are, let's say you are working for Google, you're in IT sector of maps, Google Maps. You always have to do the coding there. So now, if let's say, for example, your 7th house is really good in the Dasamsha, a new hire comes in your team and Google hired this new person. So you both can partner up on this one project that is quite difficult. So then looking at the 7th house and seeing if it's good, the partner on your project at work will help you greatly to complete the project. Now, if you have, let's say, 7th house in a harsh position in the Dasamsha, I'm not going to give any examples because then everybody is going to run all panic. But let's say your 7th house is not great. They assign you a partner at work. Not even your business at work, they assign you a partner. That is the 7th house partnership. It's like a marriage till your project is complete. Well, if there is malefic impact on it or certain combinations are happening, that person can take over your project and throw you out, or they will not help you complete that project. They'll actually bring more problems, more headaches. They completely change your programming scheme and schedule. That's what 7th house is of the Dasamsha. Then you look at the 10th house, or 8th house of the Dasamsha. 8th house in the birth chart is what? Death, rebirth, insurance, inheritance, wills, estates, spouses, family, joint assets, occult, mysticism. 8th house in the Dasamsha represents, first of all, ending and rebirth of your career. Especially if you saw yesterday's class with Mark Boney about PVR Narasimha Rao, or PV Narasimha Rao horoscope, the prime minister that was from 1991 to 93 or whatever. You saw how 8th house became alive, where he was about to retire. He retired, but he brought it back. They brought him back to. They drafted him for the prime minister position for India, and he won. So 8th house of the birth chart represents sudden endings. It represents retirement, okay, and it represents doing research-based work in your career, working behind the scenes, scandals at work, your hidden enemies. Then 9th house is father, right? 9th house is father, gurus, teachers, counselors, distant travel, foreign lands, religion, philosophy. In the Samsha chart, does it represent that? No. In 9th house of the Dasamsha represents your mentors at work. It is the people who are like your father, like your guru, guiding you at work. 9th house shows travel related to your career, or some higher additional education that you're trying to achieve in your career. And 9th house is the house of dharma, right? Your duty. Well, what is the 9th house in the Samsha? Duty towards your career. Simple. Then if you look at a 10th house itself, it is your karma itself being performed. It represents your workspace. Who's in your workspace? So let's say Saturn is in the 10th house in the Samsha. You will have very old, mature people at work. Your work will be very routine and repetitive. Your work environment will always give you projects that takes a long time to finish. So 10th house represents your fame, your reputation in your workspace. What is the reputation you have? When you walk in the office, either people hate you, they love you, they want to be with you, they think nothing of you that much, or they feel like, oh my God, this person's a very cunning person. They're always trying to get everybody else's, get into everybody else's business and report to boss. So they can represent bad reputation in the 10th house. Then 11th house in the birth chart is elder siblings, right? Your elder siblings, hopes, wishes, desires, achievements, recognition, awards. In the Dasamsha, the 11th house represents achievements and recognition in your career. The desires to go up in corporate ladder is the 11th house, meaning elder sibling is the 11th house, right? In here, it represents your seniors to your position in the 11th house. So let's say if I'm a supervisor in an IT company, I just became an employee, and after 1 year, they promoted me to supervisor. But 11th house represents my bosses as a supervisor. It represents the executives, the district manager, the CEO. And this is why 11th house is a house of achievements. Achievements of a higher title. Why? Because of the fact the people who are in the 11th house, they bring you up with a rope. Like, okay, it's time for you to come up again. So instead of a supervisor, now you will make you a department manager. We'll give you the key to the office now. Then we look at the 12th house. 12th house represents foreign lands, foreign places, hospitals, asylums, monasteries, sanctuaries, laboratories, working behind the scenes. 12th house represents, first of all, layoffs. It represents going to foreign places, foreign lands for your career. It represents loss of career. See, retirement is seen from the 8th house. Retirement is like death of the career, right? Like, okay, no more karma. You know, like no more of me being an IT professional or me being an IAS officer or me being an astrologer. No more. I'm done with this. 12th house represents the loss of career, something that I felt like it was a loss. So if I'm an IT manager and I got laid off, what happened? It's not something that I chose or knew that it had to happen. It's something that just happened to me as a loss. Like it's a loss to me because I can make my income. So 12th house represents that. And then 12th house also represents, going to foreign places, foreign lands for your career. So now you can look at planetary placements in the Dasamsha. 10th Lord in the 7th house represents that one will do business. One will learn to do business partnerships. 5th Lord in the 7th house in the Dasamsha can represent your subordinates may become your partner in business. 9th Lord in the ascendant in the Dasamsha represents what? Through your mentor, you will gain fame. Through your mentor will have the biggest influence on your career development. 2nd Lord in the 7th house in the Dasamsha, what does it represent? Your resources will help you to start a business. Whatever resources that universe has given you, the 2nd house, you will use those resources to start your business. 10th Lord in the 8th house. Most people find it scary. What it simply represents, your career will be behind the scenes. Your career will be happening where people don't see you. Kind of like, for example, I gave it in my last broadcast that I did, which I deleted accidentally. You go to a pharmacy, you see a pharmacist. You ask for medication, they give you the medication. Okay, that pharmacist is the face of that company. Like they have CVS Pharmacy here in US, used to be Save-Ons. So that pharmacy, the pharmacist is there. But who's making the actual pill? The pill that you got for your headache or pill that you got for your fever, who made that? That's 10th Lord in the 8th house. We don't know the name of the biomedical scientist. We don't know the chemical engineer who worked in the lab for 5 years to make that one pill that had to be approved by FDA and then come into the market. So it represents that. 10th Lord in the 8th house also shows that one does not enjoy working in a professional work environment. You're not the person who enjoys doing mundane work and jobs. You need to be out there discovering things. You need to be out there, finding hidden resources, finding hidden things in the career. So these Lord through houses placements can be seen from this. But especially if you want to see success in career, you want to see rise in your profession. First of all, again, I'm going to bring Gemini. Gemini tells you like this. Especially you want to see yogas. What Raj yogas are being formed in the Dasamsha. So if your Atma Karka and Namatte Karka are sitting, let's say, in the 5th house. Okay? They're sitting in the 5th house. Very well placed or friendly sign. What happens is Charadasha of the 8th house starts. You'll be thinking, oh my God, 8th house Charadasha is starting. I might lose my job or some sudden things happen. Well, that could happen if you have some other planets in the 8th house. But guess what's happening? What is 10th from the 8th house? The 5th house. So if you make 8th house the ascendant, and you're running through the sign-based dasha, like Chara dasha of the 8th house, and you make that the ascendant, what goes into the 10th house? It's your Atma Karka, Namatte Karka in the 10th house, creating a Raj Yoga. This will be the period of your success, of your career, sudden rise in career. So that 8th house, that sudden thing, is saying you will have sudden rise in career, leaps and bounds. Same thing. I mean, if you run through your, let's say 12th house period, you might think this is a loss. There's a loss coming in my career. Okay. But you have a Raj Yoga 9th house. So what's happening? The Raj Yoga is 10th from the 12th house. It represents higher status in your career. 10th house from any house through Gemini, if it has yogas, whatever yoga, good yogas, you'll find that success. It's that simple. Or you can just use Pai Paddhati for Vimshotri Dasha. So if let's say your Mahadasha is going, regardless, just use the Antra Dasha. If Antra Dasha shows a planet is being exalted in 10th place from itself and through nakshatra cycles, that'll happen. I've seen that work beautifully. But with Gemini, you just see it right away. Like, especially like next week, I will do, and remember, I will do this for right now every Sunday, 10 a.m. But next week, I'll show you something about marriage. Very easy, very simple, nothing complicated. That's what Gemini is like. Let me share this screen with you that I did in my last broadcast. And I promise I will not delete this. I will make sure that what I'm doing is right. Because last time I pressed the delete button and I wasn't supposed to. Stupid me. So let me go to this. Share. So can you guys see the picture? Can anybody type in and say if you see the picture? Oh man, it's doing that again. I hope I don't screw this up. Share. Do you see this screen? Anybody? Bueller? 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 Can anybody see the screen of the photograph? Oh my God, this is not working, is it? Stop sharing. Ah, man, I hate this. This is, oh, it's working. Okay. Let me do that again. Advance, share screen. Okay, so you see that screen? Gemini and Parashara. That's what Gemini is. Gemini directly takes you to your destination straight. With Parashara, when we always start learning Parashara, right? Parashara astrology, Raj Yogas, Dhan Yogas, and Lord through houses, which is important. You have to learn the essentials of Parashara to jump to Gemini. But Parashara will go from here to zigzagging to your determining your destination. With Jaimini, boom. Before you even step on the step, you see the destination right there. It's so easy. So don't be afraid of Jaimini. Jaimini is something so easy. It is very, very important for you guys to understand that. Because you got to understand, like I was very ignorant about Jaimini and other forms of astrology early in my life. Just even recently, I didn't want to learn Jaimini. I was like, man, I'm already trying to learn Parashara, and it's going to take me a lifetime just to master Parashara. But what happens is I forced myself to learn. I forced myself. I'm like, no, you got to do this. You got to see what this is all about. Just do it. If you don't like it, just don't worry about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give my Guru Dakshana to Mark Boney to learn Jaimini. Then what happens is when I forced myself to read the documents, read the class homework, watch the class webinar, slowly my brain started making new connections. That's what happens. That's why you must always learn something new. Your brain makes new connections, the neural connections. You change as a person. You become more mature. And then once those new connections are made, learning about Charadashas, Yogadhas, Raj Yogas, Padnadamsa Swamsa Lagna, Karakamsha Lagna, first it looks like a hodgepodge, but then the puzzle start arranging itself. And then your brain goes like, wow, why wasn't I using 2-3 dashas at the same time? Why wasn't I using this Jaimini concept before? Why? Because once you make that connection, things become easy. In the beginning, when it's trying to make that connection, that permanent connection, it's hard. You're like, oh, I don't want to learn this. I don't want to learn this. But once you sink in, when that method sinks in, that one method, and that connection is made, it makes permanently. And it does something to you in your surrounding life as well. Learning Jaimini changes my perspective towards my children, my life, when I travel. It really does change you. I can't describe it how it does. It's you know, like when people say I found enlightenment, but I cannot describe you what enlightenment is. Same thing. Like I cannot express how it changed my personality, but it has. I in a way I can say the one way I can describe it is I became more mature with learning Jaimini. And now I'm just like, wow, why wasn't I learning it before? But again, it was my prarabdha karma. See, in astrology, Brigu astrology is seen through Venus. Jupiter is Parashara. I think Mercury is KP, and then Ketu represents Jaimini. Because Mercury, KP is all about numbers, which is Mercury. But Ketu is Jaimini. So obviously your Ketu has to show prarabdha karma related to learning Jaimini, and Ketu has to be strong for you to understand Jaimini. So obviously if you don't have interest in Jaimini, that's fine, because it's not your karma to learn that in this life. But for me, I'm just telling you my perspective, you know, as a person who's not a scholar, who doesn't have any kind of a degree. For me, that I love it, I understand it. This is a great way for me to, you know, feel more comfortable with astrology, feel more confident with astrology. So that's what it is. Okay. Can you guys see my face, or is the screen is still being shared? Hello? Everything is going so quick. Okay, so Saturn in the what? Yeah, I know, my daughters are just too cute, too cute. What about twins in Jaimini? Well, twins in Jaimini, I'm pretty sure that's going to be in level 3, level 4 Jaimini course that I'm going to continue on with Mark. But Twins are really seen through degrees of the ascendant, mainly, number one. Let's say if somebody comes here with a dual sign, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Gemini, but it's specifically if it's at, let's say, 1 degree and 20 minutes of Gemini, or if, and I'm just making these numbers up. That's not what I'm just giving an example because it's very hard to know. Specific being born in a specific degree will tell an astrologer that, oh, this is a twin. This is a chart of a twin. That's why you don't need to. There's combinations as well, yogas, that this person will have a twin brother or sister, but it's the degree itself, the sensitivity of the degree and knowledge of that will show if this is a twin. There's actually a book. I'm trying to find that book. At a particular degree and a minute of that degree, you can see if this chart is of an animal or a human. Simply the degree, because at that particular degree and minute, a human will not be born. Only an animal will take birth in that particular area where the ascendant location is. So in that particular city or that coordinates where that ascendant was there, and that let's say was at 10 degrees and 2 minutes, boom, an astrologer will be able to tell, oh, this is a chart of an animal. It's a dog, probably. Of course, I don't know nothing about that. That's just like, you're talking like advanced sadhana and you know, finding hidden documents and learning that. I'm just saying what I know, especially in KRSchannel Rao's book. Let me see if I have that book. I think it's this. Planets. Is it this or hold on? I think it's this one. I think it's this one. I believe so. Either it's this one or Yogi and the Destiny. Oh yeah, it was Yogi and the Destiny of Time by KRSchannel Rao, where he described an astrologer. I think his name is Virumi Maruti, actually, also, who was also a Gemini expert. I think he was able to tell if the chart was of a animal or of a human, or a chart is of a twin or of a just a normal human, just by the degrees. How can we control all planets like Ravan? Simple. You have to open up your third eye and receive blessings of a guru. Blessings of a guru will nullify the planets, will tell the planets, don't affect this person. So the transits of planets will come and go. They may not affect you, but that's very rare. Nobody could escape the karmas of the planets. Even Yogananda, somebody like Yogananda, Paramsara Yogananda, Ramakrishna Paramhans, you can. They didn't want to. Once you have the third eye open, you won't actually care what the planet will do, because then you'll be like, wow, when is the death coming so I can leave? Because I want to go to that next place. That's how it is. So once you find out, you don't want to control them. You want them to do whatever they want to. How do we read nakshatra and D10? Well, in my software that I use, if I just simply click nakshatras for divisional charts, they show up. But I don't use them. It's just making things more complicated. You already are, the thing is, life is already complicated with just the normal birth chart and deciphering divisional charts and nakshatras, and now you're adding nakshatras in the Navamsha. I'm sure somebody can be an expert in it and show a whole lot of information, but I don't really deal with that or care for that. How to see the starting career after 45, 50? Simple. Charadasha, Padnadhamsa Dasha. So like Padnadhamsa Dasha, which is a Navamsha based Dasha that I do reading for on option 14. In the Padnadhamsa Dasha, and this is not something that is, you have to calculate manually right now. Only the software that I use gives out Padnadhamsa Dasha, which I'm so thankful for. But in Padnadhamsa and Navamsha, if you run through a certain, let's say, Padnadhamsa Dasha of a Raj Yoga, Atma Karka and Amatya Karka are sitting, and you're 52 years old, As soon as that dasha starts, suddenly your career rejuvenates, revives itself. Or let's say you run in through a dasha of ninth house. Okay, your ninth house dasha is running, which may have nothing to do with your career. But in Padmadhamsa dasha or Chara dasha, any dasha, 10th from itself is creating a Raj Yoga. Jaimini Raj Yoga, not like Raj Yoga of planets. Jaimini Raj Yoga, especially with Amatya Karka being involved, career will rejuvenate. In the Dasamsha chart, if you're, let's say, 55 years old, the Dasamsha chart, you have retired. Okay, you've been retired 5 years. But suddenly what happens is a dasha comes in where 10th from that dasha in Dasamsha is your Amatya Karka sitting. Some situation will happen, something will come up where you will have to go back and work again. Suddenly you retired for 5 years and you were great at what you did. Suddenly your company calls you, say, look, I know you were making $150,000 with us, but we will give you $300,000 if you come and work for us. We need your expertise in this project. What's going to happen? You're going to refuse that? No, you're going to go back and work. The offer will be too good to refuse. That's how careers rejuvenate. What? Oh man, this is going too fast. Mars and what? Scorpius and Ketu in second house, Mula Nakshatra, Praspada. Ketu in second house of Mula Nakshatra, and it starts in 2018. Well, especially in Mula Nakshatra, number one, you won't care for money. Once your Ketu Mahadasha starts, you will not care for money, values, and possessions. But they will come to you. That's how Ketu works. It gives you things that you stop caring for. At the same time, Ketu will actually bring in the money for you. Why? Because Ketu co-rules the ascendant of Scorpio. Sits in the second house and shows through your own effort your money will come in. Why? Because Ketu's Mool Trikon is the sign of Capricorn, which is the third from Scorpio. At the same time, being its own nakshatra, your spiritual life will begin. Mula nakshatra will suddenly make you feel like I want to know myself to the root level. You will also deal with some deep-rooted things, like let's say you have to deal with some ancestral property. You have to, suddenly you get a research-based project where you have to find out why this problem is occurring. And you'll keep getting those type of projects. So it shows that for you, it's going to be all about going to the root level and understanding yourself. Can we order charts, dimensional charts that show degrees? No, right now I don't have that. The software doesn't show you that. Only I see it on my end, but when I print the report, it doesn't show that. And the thing is, I don't want to include that in the report because a lot of people who get reports from me or readings from me, they're very new to astrology or they're not really familiar with astrology. And if you show them nakshatras in the birth chart and divinal charts, I mean, it's just going to confuse them. I keep it things to a very simple, basic level where things can be understood in a very easy way. What is the benefit of knowing the future but can't change it? Well, who says you can't change it? Of course you can change it. That's what the willpower is there. That's what the free will is there for you to correct certain karmas to change that. That's why you should know the future, that if your future is showing this, well, your will, your free will is going to come in and say, well, look, I can alternate it. Now, one thing about the future is this. Sixth house, which is known as prarabdha karma, is an unchangeable karma. It cannot be changed. You must pay back those things in this life. Rest of them can be changed through willpower. So if let's say an astrologer, you go to an astrologer says you're going to end up murdering somebody next year in this time period. That's a prediction, right? And if this person is 100% right all the time, well, then what you can do, be aware of the fact that, okay, I can actually commit a murder next year. So if you, let's say, have guns in your home, like in US, most people have guns in their home. take those guns out. Or if you know in this period you're traveling to some country which is not very safe, don't travel. So this way you can then avoid those things. That's what astrology is for, is to change, is to be able to change the changeable karmas. But if the prarabdha karma shows that, well, it is to happen. And it could happen in a good way or bad way. It could happen in a good way where you protect your family. You have a gun, somebody breaks into your house with a knife and you shoot them, you kill them, but that's, you protected your family. So Venus in the 7th house in Virgo from Pisces ascendant. Well, first of all, with nakshatra Venus isn't, because your Venus could be actually exalted in Navamsha. What this first of all shows, obviously one will have a delay of relationship and marriage. And especially at the age of 19, you would have a very, very strong romantic experience that will set your path for rest of your life for relationships. At the same time, your spouse will be very practical, very realistic. Somebody who will get a spouse who's not more about romance or love or lust. They're all about, hey, I need you to be my partner so we can help pay our bills, our mortgage, and create some investments and take care of our children. And on our daily routines, we can just make sure that the house is doing well. So you get a more practical spouse. Or and especially early on in life, you will get people who are just in there for either the money or lust and not the actual love. But if, let's say, how Venus is placed in Navamsha will determine what your Venus ends up with. If, let's say, Venus is in the sign of Libra, you will ultimately find a person who is very well balanced. They're not so practical and they're not overly lustful and romantic. They're very balanced. They have their moments of love, romance, moments of practicality. So that those things become important. Man, I don't know if you guys can see this on your end. This is like the fastest comments I've seen. I mean, I can barely read things right now. So Vimshotri or Charadasha for career? Give me insights. If you want to ask my personal opinion, because there could be an expert who can just from Vimshotri can tell you everything. For me, it's going to be Charadasha and Padnadhamsa Dasha. It is so easy. It's very easy because see, if you're looking for promotion through Vimshotri Dasha, you have to see the Mahanantra Dasha, obviously, and Paryantra Dasha is all mistimed. Even if you have a chart which is less than like even 20 seconds off, your Paryantra, Sukshma, Prana Dasha, they're all going to be off. But see, in Vimshotri Dasha, it's going to make it complicated to see, okay, what Raj Yoga is forming. What is the Avastha of this planet? What is the Shatbala, Vimshopak Bala? It's complicated in the Vimshotri system. Either you can use Padam Chakra for promotions and success in career. Let's say if your 10th Lord is in the 7th house, okay, and it's exalted. Most definitely, if let's say you're 29 years old, I can clearly see at the age of 31, you're going to find success. But if let's say I'm using Gemini Charadasha, you have a Raj Yoga forming either in the ascendant or 10th from the sign that the Charadasha has activated, the sign-based time period. That's it. I can clearly see that in Charadasha and Antra Charadasha, you find success. And this is where you don't even need to worry about Shatbalas at all. You just need to see how the planets in the birth chart and the Vamsha chart, the sign placement. And if especially the planet gets directional strength and it's in a good sign placement, creating Raj Yoga, simple 2 or 3 steps and you find out. Now, a planet could be neutral position, 10th from the Charadasha. It may not show sudden big success. So if you were looking for your 50% raise, that may not come, but you will probably get 10% raise, 15% raise. But if you have to use Vimshotri system to use promotions, not only you have to see Mahadasha, Antradasha with the yogas, then you have to go into Ashtak Varga. You have to see the Banishtak Varga, Sarvashtak Varga. You have to see the Mahadasha that you're running through. If the planet is transiting in a sign during the promotion that has 8 points, 7 points, Okay, that makes a good decision. If the 10th from the Mahadasha has 37 points, 40 points, so there's like 10 steps to Parashara, 2 steps to Germany, or 3 steps to Germany. And this is why we can see a whole lot more things easier in Germany versus Parashara. So Moon, Saturn, Dhanishta, what? Venus conjunct Moon in the 5th house. Oh, man, you're a creative, artistic person. But at the same time, in relationship and romance, you become very needy. If somebody does not praises you constantly, you lose interest in them. Most definitely, you may have interest in music, poetry with that conjunction. So what do you like any of these things that I just described? I forgot the person who gave me that question. Venus in Jyeshtha in 2nd house. Your spouse, first of all, will be the eldest sibling in the family. She will definitely have some issue with the mother. And especially with the spouse, you will find hidden treasure. Joint assets will increase. Wait. Yes, okay. Yeah, so that's what Moon Venus will do then. Okay. So I think I have done quite good in my second live event. And remember, this is available on Spreadshirt.com. I'll put the link in the description. Shop.Spreadshirt. It's funny. When I brought the sparkle t-shirt out, you know, the one that sparkles in the sun, like it's the stars and the cosmos. Oh my God, that has been like, everybody's been wanting that. So it's like, I'm like, I don't even need to put any more combinations because everybody's getting the sparkle shirts on Spreadshirt. And the link to it is also on my YouTube actual homepage. On the side, you will see the icon for Spreadshirt, but I'm trying to make a separate website for it. That's going to be the major announcement for the thing. I'm making a separate website for the clothing thing. So that's what it is. And no, people are saying, oh, are these t-shirts going to bring us luck or something? No, these are not. This is nothing to do with remedies. Okay, this is just, it's just me just branding out so I can have more funds to do more things for you guys, whether it's making movies, you know, whether it's you know, creating a better setting, opening up a school. So all these things, you know, they help you. So why not? I mean, but remember, remedies do not work in astrology. Even to this day, even after finding so much things on remedies in astrology, to this day, I can again say remedies just don't work. Only the blessings of a guru or a teacher will work, as far as astrology is concerned. But there are other remedies outside of astrology. Like I always tell about the Shivling remedy, the best one ever that I found. And also, those who were asking in the comments about the Navamsha thing, yes, I still have the Navamsha reading open on the website. So if you need books, reports, consultations, go to the astrologycares.com website. And remember, I'm going to be doing this every Sunday at 10 a.m. So make sure you be here or be square. And I'm going to try to make a studio-like setting, you know, like a podcast studio downstairs. So I'm going to order this metallic sign of my logo, not this one with the KRS in the back. And I'm going to make it all like nice and unique. So, and also I'm going to get this software. It's an expensive software. It's like a $400 or $500 software per broadcast. And this will that will allow me to do also calls. Like there will be a number and you can call that number and you'll get into queue. So I can actually talk to you live and you can curse at me live on that broadcast. So let's see how all these things work out. Otherwise, tab tak ke liye aagya dijiye. Namaskar.